Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and those in between and beyond. Welcome to the College of Inspiration, where we wish to inspire you with our role-playing adventures. Today we are continuing our Arkpoint campaign, a fantasy noir game that explores the crime and politics in the city of Arkpoint. I am Cosmo, he, him, your host and game master for this campaign. Please note that our players won't be responding to chat on stream to maintain immersion, but they may be in chat themselves if their character isn't in the scene. We will also shout out any subscribers and donations at the break and at the end of stream, as well as show off any fan art we receive. Speaking of art, the art for this campaign has been provided by two wonderful artists. All the player character sprites and animations were done by our lovely Scarlet Song, our bard at law here at the College of Inspiration, and all the NPC art was done by our good friend Eldritch Flatcap. Finally, the music used in this stream was composed by Kevin MacLeod. I'll just pop behind the bar here and do a quick introduction of our players, starting with Scarlet.
Hello everyone, I am Scarlet Song, she, her, and I am reprising my role as the very tired, as always, Miss Cotta, who is also a she, her, who had a very, very interesting dream last night.
Thank you, Scarlet. Next is JuniperFinch. Juniper?
Hi everybody, I'm JuniperFinch, he, him, and today I'll be joining you as the young noble Janus Amberwood, he, him, spending a lovely morning with his father, doing paperwork.
Sounds great. Thank you. Next up we have Rain.
Yes, I'm Rain. I'll be playing the masterful Scoop, Master Detective, and Red Dragonborn, and my pronouns are he, him. And I'm really looking forward to playing through this session again.
Master Cook as well, from what we've seen.
Yes, indeed.
And next, we have Alexander Chronist.
Good evening. My name is the Accountant, and I'm afraid I have the displeasure of performing some business this evening.
Thank you, Alexander. Well, we already got a slight recap from the players, but I'll still do my little. Last time in Arkpoint. After a short scuffle in the streets of Riverside, our crew captured Pierre and Carmen, the suspected arsonists and extortionists. They locked their captives in a cold room of a nearby abattoir and headed home for the night, each having their own restless dreams while they slept. Come morning, Scoop, the accountant, and Miss Cotta all reconvened on their way to the abattoir, while Janus offered to join his father for work. And that's where we are.
I think you see as we're walking along, Miss Cotta is attempting to just lightly, he's got a couple of crumbs on the back of his shirt. Just, the coat, it's just so grimy. What do I do? Just reaching for Scoop, just very lightly being not even realizing that she's doing it. She's just tiny.
Yeah, so sorry about the mess in the office. It's a work in progress, like a busy mind and all that. But yes, there's much questioning to be done. I must say, I'm very excited.
Mr. Scoop,
yes?
do you have any questions specifically you are looking to ask? Having an idea of what you once heard often makes this process a little bit easier.
Well, good thinking, but I tend to find that's the beauty of interrogation is you can never quite, if you already know what you want them to tell you, they won't tell you anything new.
That was very wise. That was very
Raises a
wise.
questioning eyebrow, but I do not press the issue further.
And it's probably a good idea that we avoid sensitive subjects. We don't want to show our hand and tell them exactly what we know. That perhaps this Captain Harkness is someone in there, or someone maybe employing them or working alongside them.
Harkness. I believe it was Harkness. Not Harkness.
Scribbles out a word. Rewrites.
Who's Harkness?
Alright then. Actually, maybe if we do have to say the name, perhaps we should pronounce it, see if they correct us. It'd be a side way of having them confirm what we already know.
Well, for lack of a better word, the fiery one seemed to have a bit of an ego.
They'll
We can
call
play
him
into that.
Arnis.
The accountant kind of pauses for a moment, like stopping the walk, turning towards the both of you. You can see it's quite a serious face that he has.
Oh.
I do not wish to put you in unfortunate positions. So, if things get hairy, as they say, please do not feel that you must stay present or
Did Pierre have hair?
incriminate yourself in some manner.
Exactly. If things get hairy, I'll step out for a breather and maybe, that's something I wanted to bring up. Perhaps we should separate the suspects. I've read that in a few, there's some scholars on the subject have recommended that as a great way to ensure that they can't talk to each other and compare stories.
Well, you've left them passed out in, what was it? A room? Where did you put them?
In the
Exactly.
freezer.
Like milk.
Like the freezer or the freezer?
It's a cold metal box. I thought it was appropriate for Mr. Pyre.
Oh, that's smart.
I
Okay.
don't know what was that.
Oh.
Is the accountant
Mm.
purposely mispronouncing his name?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Pierre, my apologies.
Well, we don't know how it's spelled. We've only gotten it said, so
Yeah.
That's
we
alright.
don't know. We don't know.
Yeah,
We-
unfortunately, I did reveal that behind-the-scenes information, and it is influenced.
Hmm.
People get names
Sorry.
wrong all the time. We shouldn't judge them for that.
We should, we can use it to test him, to determine if the information we have is verified.
Exactly. Good thinking. Oh, I wish I thought of that.
All right. I will let you know. I'm a cleaning lady. I'm not much of an interviewer. That's the I word we're using, right?
Yes.
Yes.
This is just a simple discussion between 5 consenting adults, 2 of which are tied to chairs.
Well, one of them's handcuffed.
Well, they both have broken legs, don't they?
Not broken, just pierced a little.
You'd be surprised how much one can recover after a good night's rest. They might be fitter than you expect.
All right. Well, regardless.
Oh.
She turns. She tries to make a brave face of it, but she, the same shoulder motion. Does a little bit of just lightly scratches at her arms a little. I'm not a fan per se of cruelty. I may need to step out if it's what we need to do.
There
I'd
will be
rather
no
it not
need
come
for,
to it, though.
There will not be a need for cruelty.
Exactly. And
Alright.
besides, as harsh and as much as it can hurt you, I assure you, the harsh words we're going to be laying upon them cannot possibly cause them any physical harm. As
makes
much
a
as it'll
side eye.
cause you emotional damage.
She makes a side eye at the accountant. Well, words do. The mental pain lasts a lot longer than the physical, I guess. Don't be too cruel on them, Scoop.
Actually, that's a fair point. There was this one time I was at a comedy club and one of my friends was heckling the person on stage playing the flute, and then he just suddenly fell unconscious after the guy heckled him back. It was crazy.
It can be very damaging to a person, yes. Ideally, you will have just a simple conversation. They will see the error of their ways, and we can... Scoop, I'm sure you have someone on the force you believe to be legitimate who could take these individuals into custody, where they may go through a rehabilitation process.
Exactly. So fret not. They will not come to any more harm, as I am
Then
aware
it's
of.
necessary. Yes.
Exactly.
You could just ask them to confess. It's worked for me in the past.
That is my plan, to a degree. Just a little more sideways.
Alright. But we did mention last time that I'm supposed to be the bad cop. I don't know what it's like to be a cop. Do I have to wear bras? Do I have to, have handcuffs? Do I have to, wear one of them hats?
That would depend whether you like wearing those hats and handcuffs.
Yes.
I'm not really a fan of, I wear this one because I have to, but I never wore hats before.
A friend of mine once told me he liked wearing handcuffs, but I think it was a different context.
Contortionist?
Yeah,
Gay
that's his
bosses,
job. How did you know?
perhaps.
I wouldn't know anything about that. Flexibility. She
Well.
looks around. I suppose actually no. I've fit into some strange spaces before.
Perhaps we should continue onwards. We are burning daylight after all.
Yeah, yes.
Are they going somewhere? If it does come to blows, I really hope, and I'm really glad Janus is an heir. I hope he's okay. Do you think his parents chewed him out plenty?
Hopefully so.
Alright.
That would mean everything is going well. When they stop chewing him out, that is when we have a problem.
Maybe we should
Yes.
think of a way to be able to have him outside if he wants to join us. Not for this stuff, though.
Perhaps he could take on work experience as a junior detective.
Ooh,
Oh, yes.
that would work. I'll get to know the people, Lord's son and all that.
Then I can be good cop, you can be bad cop. You can be cop, and he can be cop junior.
And who can I be?
You're cop.
I'm used to being red
I'm a
cop.
par.
That makes sense too. How
Oh,
far away
wait.
from the Avatar are we?
And what's Janus up to?
As you make your way to the abattoir, we'll cut to the Arkpoint Keep. Give me a second. Here we go, Arkpoint Keep. And inside Arkpoint Keep, which we find ourselves in the office of one Lord Quincy Amberwood, alongside his son.
Janus is listening in as best he can and trying to focus on every little detail of what his father is saying. While his father, taken by the excitement of Janus asking in the first place, has opted to explain everything.
Oh yes. Oh, so you see, Janus, these reports are from the Merchant Guild. These ones from developments. We have watch officer reports. We have these are the guard. You know the difference between the watch and the guard. So the watch maintain order and within the city limits. The guard protect our borders.
Yes. And Janus has got this little notebook that he's sort of, it's nice, but a bit plain. And he's sort of scribbling down notes as he goes.
Yeah, so these all these reports, they come through the various members of the council. So there's the council. We meet regularly to discuss plans for the city, problems the city is having, all these things.
Do the what reports come through any councillor in particular? Or the council in general?
A bit of both. So there is the council member for security, but if anything needs to be signed off particular reasons for the different various things within the city, they send it to the other council members who are relevant to that. I tend to personally like to look over a lot of everything. I'm duty bound to this city, as our family is. A duty that you will inherit one day. So.
And it sort of freezes briefly at that thought. And then unfreezes again. Have I met the security counselor?
I don't think you wouldn't. I mean, give me a intelligence or history roll.
Okie dokie. Let's get this one. History. Ooh. Oh wow, that's unexpected. Can get you a muddy 20.
A muddy 20. Hey.
Woo.
You've been introduced, from what you remember, you've probably been introduced to the various council members over the years at functions, or they've popped in to see your father or whatnot. Would you feel that Janus would actually have taken any of these introductions on board himself?
Probably not.
Okay.
Gotta be realistic here. Probably not.
Yeah. Though with that role, yeah, you do remember the name of the security counselor, who is Counselor Woodrow.
May I see some of the watch reports? I'm kind of curious.
What? I mean, how would he react to that? Give me a persuasion.
Okay.
I'll give you advantage because he's currently very excited that you're interested in work.
Oh, what's my persuasion look like? Ooh, it's actually got a positive modifier. Yay. Oh, wow, okay. So courtesy of proficiency bonus is an actual positive charisma multiplier. That is a completely different muddy 20.
Oh. Another muddy 20.
For all the kids watching at home, remember, see what mood your dice are in before you start.
Sure, you may have a look. Don't mess up the order or, get anything on them, but you have a read. I can explain what these various things mean.
Thank you. And he carefully receives the small, well, I'm not sure how small stack of reports would actually be. I suppose that would depend.
Yeah, this one, it's a a hefty stack at the moment, because it's a lot of different things. If you're looking for something in particular, let me know. Maybe
I think
while you're reading through them, your father is explaining this is the date of the report, what it's about, what the officers involved, their notes, conclusion, what the security counselor thinks the outcome, if it was resolved, how well it was resolved, or if it wasn't resolved, what the next steps should be, things like this. I can either sign off on this, be like, cool, seen it, we'll move that on, or I can give my own recommendations if I think things should be different. I do trust Woodrow. He's maintained the watch and the guard pretty well since he's taken the position. So I usually defer to him.
Would Janus know roughly how long that is? Is that weeks, months, years?
It's been a few years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. I think I'll start with the most recent reports and just give each one a sort of cursory glance, seeing like if there's any mention of Riverside or Captain Harkus, or I assume Captain. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Assuming, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the accountant Miss Cotta relayed that information during your stakeout. So yeah, give me an investigation check on all that.
Oh boy. Let's see here. Investigation. Okay, maybe my dice are in too good a mood. That's a natural 20. I swear I'm not kidding. Wow. A 19, a 15, and a 20 spread across 3 rolls. I'm definitely going to roll the first one. 100%.
Oof.
Oh, damn. I think I found the quote-unquote fire from yesterday.
Yeah, as
I'm so sorry.
that advice both your father and Miss Cotta gave you last, like, you gotta be smart. Sunk in.
Yeah.
Alright. As you read through various reports, and your father's explaining all these things, you take note of ones for Riverside and anything with Captain Harkness, as like, because you quickly realize he's the captain of the Riverside North District, so like he sort of oversees most of the watch activity in that district. And you quickly notice that like recent reports on various things like threatening behavior or property damage or break-ins or potential thefts and stuff, those sort of like areas seem to be delegated to a handful of officers, and a lot of the conclusions of those investigations by those officers tend to be along the lines of like not enough evidence, or was a misunderstanding, or was like followed up on perpetrators. It was some drunkard that they locked up for a night, and seemed to be like no ongoing things. They seemed to be cut and dry when it involved the specific. So four officers you find the names of under the Captain Harkness. Arcus. Oh, I'm doing it now. So these officers are Officer Lena, Officer Elwyn, Officer Tangaroa, and Officer Elliot.
And Janus kind of mumbles to himself, okay, Elliot, that sounds familiar. That's really interesting.
So that's as you like this investigation probably takes you a good hour or so, as just like you're sitting there going through all these reports with your father, and just the occasional like one that actually interests you sticks out, and you kind of make the mental note. Eventually, you make you get through like that stack. So did that all make sense to you, Janus?
I think it's starting to.
I'm glad. You this is important. It may seem boring, but it is very important for the keeping the city running, and keeping the citizens safe and all those things.
Oh. And it kind of clicks for him. It's like, didn't I have shield practice today? He kind of looks at his father, slightly panicked, just like, I think I'm late.
Oh, no. Well, thank you for you go to practice. Don't forget also this afternoon history lessons.
Yes, of course.
You go to your studies. I'm glad, but if you're still interested in learning what I do, we can reorganize your schedule for in the future. You can come help me at work more often.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd learn a lot.
You see,
He says with this sort of big grin.
Yeah, you see your father smile. You're like, I'm glad. Well, I won't keep you, and I've got to get back to all this.
Thanks, Dad. And he kind of... I almost want to say scurries out, but it's that doesn't quite cover it.
Yeah. So
as he
where
leaves
are
the
you
room-
making your way to? Do you actually have shield lessons? I can't quite remember.
I was trying to think of the history lesson, seeing as we've been in there for a while, but he might have shield lessons.
Yep.
But on the way down the stairs from his father's office, he's looking over his notes, just like, this is really good. This I can work with.
Yeah.
I need to get this to the others. And puts the notebook in his pocket.
Well, speaking of the others, we'll cut back to Dwarnborough. By Mr. Amberwood. Have you guys you've made it to the abattoir now? By now? Have you entered the abattoir though?
Miss Cotta was Miss Cutter.
Oh.
During this, if possible. I think. Does the abattoir smell like blood?
It would. It is a slaughterhouse.
Right, it does. So
Yeah.
like I think Miss Cotta looks kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just like
Before we go in, are you both sure about this? The accountant does look a lot more towards Miss Cotta. Cutter.
Yes. If this is what it could be, then, and certain parties get involved, then the point in me all the way over on the other side of town makes very little sense, because they're going to be coming for them and potentially finding me anyway, so Better nip it in the bud, I guess.
Oop.
Oh yes. Well, don't worry, Captain. There's no need to be so anxious. I'm sure we'll do great work here. We'll find who these criminals are working for, and they'll end up behind bars. Mark my words. Ooh, I had a thought. Ms. You look different again.
Cutter.
Cotta. Okay, Miss Cotta. When we were fighting these guys originally, and I may have mildly inconvenienced one of their legs, you put down some sort of magic that made it. Yes, you put down some sort of magic that made it hard for them to tell lies.
Yes.
If we make a rune,
and some people straight up chose not to, which I really do appreciate. It's one of your best qualities.
Thank you. You meant.
But I agree with Mr. Scoop. If you could work your magic once more, that would be quite helpful.
I think it would be.
I can.
Which reminds me, before we go in, Scoop.
Yes.
What was that thing we found yesterday?
Flip through a few pages in a book.
Some kind of stave-like thing.
Stick. Oh, you were
yes,
talking
it
about
had
it last
those-
night at dinner.
Miss Cotta is quite informed in the ways of the arcane to a degree.
I'm really not, but I can help if I know it.
Scoop reaches into his pouch, his satchel, and starts rummaging through it, pulling out a handful of things. He goes, "Oh, can you hold this for a second?" Hands you a whisk and a spatula. Both are blackened beyond near recognition.
I think she sighs.
Hands you
She sighs.
a pound bag of salt. Bunch of
Turns
straw.
to the accountant.
Here it is. Pulls out
It
a
has
stick.
warding capabilities.
It
Yes,
does.
and it's great when you throw it into people's faces. Hands you the item we found on their person previously. A short stick with a bit of flint on it that appears to have some elegant design to it. And
Do I recognize it? Recognize what it could be? Have I seen something like it?
Give me a history check.
How good's Miss Cotta at history today? Not the best. Oh. That's a 12.
I don't know. This wouldn't. What I feel, this wouldn't be something I don't think Miss Cotta has had much experience with.
Not really.
Yeah.
Does it look like?
So
There's a flint at the tip, right?
Yeah. So it's this black wooden rod. Yeah. Maybe about less than a foot in length.
Yep.
Actually, no, I have it written here. About 6 inches long, so about half a foot. So it's a black wooden rod with steel banding, about 6 inches long. At one end is a flint wheel mechanism, and running down its length seem to be carved arcane runes.
Do I recognize any of the runes from like dial work or anything like? Because what is it at the manor? Lord Sanguis worked with a lot.
You would
worked with a lot of
maybe
sort of things.
some from Lord Sanguis.
Yeah.
The runes seem to be the spire is like the most basic thing you can get from it. It's like they have something to do with fire.
Perhaps then. Well, was it on the spicy one?
Mr. Pierre.
Yes.
Oh. I can tell you it's for fire.
Do you
But that
think
might be obvious. It might cost it. I don't know
perhaps
if you
he
need
used
to.
it to burn
to
down
start?
that building?
Perhaps. Or enhance his own capabilities.
So we
There's-
could assume that this is a weapon. of the
I
sort.
mean, do I recognize what a wand looks like at least?
Yeah, you would recognize what a wand or
Does this look more like a wand, or does it look like something else?
it's reminiscent of like rods almost. Like,
Okay.
it feels like it would be involved in magic in some way.
It probably costs. I don't know what degree, but given that we just saw a cafe on fire the other day, it would not be difficult to guess this might have been involved.
Yeah, lazy way to start a fire, if you ask me.
Would you
Not
awfully
everyone is
mind?
born with dragon's breath.
You know.
No, I'm afraid that is quite unique to you, Mr. Scoop.
Scoop starts to beam.
Would you mind awfully if I carried that with me for the duration of this interview?
Alright, just don't burn yourself, she says, passing it to you.
Yeah,
I'm going to slip that
Tiny
inside my
hands
jacket
next
pocket.
to giant hand.
I take the stick.
Take the stick.
if you want to clean that up, I have some steel wool. But in my experience, it just gets blackened anyway. So it's really not worth the effort as I start to put back my own utensils.
Was it dirty when you passed it to Miss Cotta?
It shouldn't be.
No.
I imagine not.
It's
Okay.
just blackened.
Yeah,
Oh,
like the
she
wood.
gets out
The
of
wood
cloth.
is like a black wood.
Oh, it's a black wood on purpose. I thought like it was semi-ashy, because if it was actually before she passes it over, she gives it a light sniff. Do I smell similar to the serviette on it? I don't smell as well as the accountant, but I'm not exactly going to ask him to be a bloodhound.
Like
That's rude. Who would ask that?
you don't smell like beer on it.
Why does this lightly smell of old greasy steak?
That could be anything. Anyway, so about this this magic that allows people not to tell the truth, or the other thing around, something like that.
I can cast a few things. I'm not the strongest. It's not my main focus. Never was. And it's something that I just kind of happened into. I could ask them. I could tell them to tell the truth, and I could ask them to confess. Either is fine.
I would like to give them an opportunity under their own volition, before we
Before-
resort to any other means.
Yes,
Fair
thanks
is
for
fair.
experience. Okay. I didn't mean to
Alright.
interrupt.
Well, then if we're all
I'm-
good.
Alright. Well, I think I do not have another form, unfortunately. But I do think that as soon as we step into, or like step towards the abattoir, you see Miss Cutter's form change into a dark skin, like tan to dark skin, elven woman. Darkish hair. Still in braids. A lot of it's still very Miss Cotta, but her skin changes. There's no hat in this visual.
Okay.
I would say like regular Miss Cotta is fine if you'd like to change sprites.
Well, I could go
But
with the
I'd
one with
say
no
she-
hat.
Yep. I would say more of a humanish form. But
Huh.
maybe half elven.
That's very impressive. Ooh, I just had an idea. If we separate them, and perhaps you could turn into one of them, and walk in, or perhaps we
I'm not-
leave the door open and
Mr.
talking
Scoop, I'm gonna
in the earshot.
I'm going to let you know if you want me to do anything involving telling truths or all of that sort of jazz. I'm not going to be able to do it out of a large area if you separate them. They have to be together or close by,
Oh,
at least.
I was thinking we put this magic in one room, and we each individually take them to this one room to interrogate them.
I'm not too sure if that's how it works, but if you think that's how it works, I'm happy to do it. It seems to be a
Lots.
zone.
Mr. Scoop,
Yes.
how about we try with the pair of them together? As their stories will already be straight if they have one, and we can separate them at a later point if necessary. I find
Also
these
have-
things are easily overcomplicated.
Also,
I'll
I
defer
would
to your
say that given how quickly that one ran, as soon as he realized he didn't have any muscle, he's probably going to give us mostly sass back until, he's encouraged to not. Just
Well-
a guess. You may need to hold me back. I really don't like him.
If that's the case, I only suggest separating them because I tend to find if they're together, they can, like, people together form like a bit of a bond, and they can give each other like a sense of like, I don't know, support and.
And that is exactly what I am counting on, Mr. Scoop.
Oh,
We'll be together too.
well, I'm interested to see how that works out. Now you have me intrigued. I kind of want to see it.
Indeed. Very well. If you would follow me. And I kind of open the big metal door. I'm going to head into the abattoir and make my way to the last place I left the individuals.
Yes. As you make your way through to the cool room, you see your friend William, who runs the abattoir, like working. Honestly, he's like cleaning up a carcass hanging from a thing. Just gives you a
see
nod.
Miss Cotta shudder at that.
Yeah. Continue straight through to the chill room.
She tucks in a little bit, probably either behind the accountant or Scoop, so she doesn't have to see.
This is why you build really large characters, so that your friends can hide behind them. That's the whole purpose.
I think you see her maybe like tuck in just a little bit. She's not really recognizing that she's intentionally doing it. It's kind of more of a subconscious, but she's like, her eyes are down. She's not looking. But given the accountant's passive perception, I'm pretty sure you see all of these uncomfortable behaviors after all. You've gotten to know her a little better.
All right. Well, yeah. Head into the chill room.
You find Carmen and Pierre still tied to the chairs you left them on.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is the accountant. I hope you have enjoyed your pleasant stay and have had a chance to cool off. How are we both feeling?
Carmen just stares at you, doesn't say anything. Pierre is, Mr. Accountant, welcome back. It has been refreshing, to say the least.
It's great to hear. As you can see, I am here with a few associates of mine. We would just like to ask you a few questions, find out some very relevant information, and then we would like to remove you from this place. Does that all seem quite fair and above board?
Well, we'll do. What if we have questions for you? It seems you're quid pro quo. You ask a question,
look back.
I answer a question.
I look back to Scoop.
You're literally tied to a chair. What the hell?
Yes, please leave all questions till the end.
Well, that doesn't seem fair now, does it?
Oh,
I
well,
will answer to the best of my abilities, Mr. Pierre. That seems quite reasonable.
and if you have any complaints, you can put them in writing and submit them to our suggestion box, just as to know when.
Ooh, sassy.
Mr. Pierre, what is the name of your employer?
No. What is not
It's
the
a
name
funny
of my
name.
employer? No, what is a
That
funny name?
was- I do believe that you said you would answer my question, not question the validity thereof.
I never said anything about answering. I just said I would ask you questions.
Oh, okay. Well, then would you like to ask me a question, Mr. Pierre?
Well, then if I did, then you would ask another question. And I'd have
I'm
to-
going to ask another one again.
That was a
think
question.
what's about-
now that I think about it.
Mr. Carmen, do you have any pressing matters on your mind?
You see him just like kind of his eyes just quickly glance at his like swollen knee. the bandage. He's like,
Ooh.
but he doesn't like answer out loud. Just kind of meets your
Does
gaze again.
seem, as seems obvious in hindsight, that could be terrible, career-threatening injury if left to itself. That would be horrible. You seem like a very active man.
He like
And
gives you a short nod.
you and I, unlike Mr. Pierre here, we are consummate professionals of our industry. I believe you know who I am.
I take offense at
And-
that you say that I'm not a professional.
I do not turn to Pierre, even slightly. But, and I have taken a good gauge of you. Of course, perhaps I give more credit than is due, but I prefer to err on the side of caution. I believe you understand, in fact, you may have even experienced, how this scenario is going to play out. But, as I said, what I would like, information in exchange for the removal of you from this place. Completely, well, relatively unharmed.
Yeah, give me an insight roll.
That will be a 19.
Excellent.
You definitely, in his, like, you can see he's thinking things in his head. He's not wanting to say anything, but he's definitely considering his options, from what you can tell.
Well,
hmm.
I don't actually particularly need two people. But not to say that, I'm going to, I turn back to my friends. How would you say, not kill, that's too harsh.
No, not kill.
Yes, we have no intention of killing you.
No.
Oh, well, I'm very glad to hear that. Well,
Yes, killing would be far too harsh a punishment. It would be, I don't know, a very extreme approach. We wouldn't be able to question you if we kill you.
And really, you only need one person to answer question.
Exactly.
Reasonable.
And obviously, we will much prefer, we would favor more heavily the person who answers our questions. We would like them better, you know?
So-
Obviously, we'd be very upset with the person who lies to us.
The thing I would probably just want to put into your head to think upon, Mr. Carmen. For whatever reason, you are partnered with Mr. Pierre. That was a choice you have made at some point. And I think you can understand that now, scenario has changed. In as far as there is a ship likely going down very soon. The captain is very likely to go with it, as is his duty. But for some, and I look quite dead at his eyes, there are lifeboats. There's a way out, where you can go and find another life, start over. Just bear that in mind. I only need one person.
I would also like to pipe up that this man was very happily prepared to throw you under the bus and bolt when you went down.
Oh, of course. Yes. Yes, he did, didn't he?
He ran away like a coward.
I was going to get help. We were
Yes.
assaulted by.
Oh,
four
where were you
individuals in
getting
the
that
dark.
help from, by the way?
Yeah.
Watch, of course. Like
Oh, who?
two gentlemen just on their way home, and we assaulted by four individuals in the dead of night. It's where else would a citizen turn but to the watch?
Oh, yes, salt. Scoop will start to dig for his bag, pulling out a bag of salt and laying it on a table and Needn't I remind you as I start to pull things out of my bag, like burnt and charred cook's utensils, various knives and spatulas and whisks that are horribly deformed from heat and warping their frames. And needn't I remind you that as my friend put it, your being bolted on can hurt a lot. So I put my crossbow bolt on the table.
I think not Miss Cutter or Miss Cotta, Miss Catha?
This form.
I'm just running through a list. This form walks over to Carmen slowly. She's approaching. And with a very genuine face. How much does it hurt?
Give me a persuasion.
I know what it's like. I've been through it before. How much does it hurt? Are you okay? That persuasion, by the way, is a muddy 20.
Damn.
I've been through it before. I know it hurts. I don't know what your tolerance is like. Are you okay?
You see him just like sort of like shrug, but like just, avert his gaze from you.
Is it alright if I... And she puts out a hand. No weapons. No anything. I can help a little. I'd like to know. There's a sweet little old lady who's very scared. And I'd like to help her, if you'll let me.
He just kind of stares at a point on the floor, not responding.
I don't know if they've got stuff on you, or if the person you're tied to actually has ties to you. She gives him 2 points of lay on hands, easing the pain a little. But I'd rather this not come to cruelty. No one needs to get hurt. They really don't. And they shouldn't. Not just because they don't understand what's going on. Please.
During this time, I would like to stare very hard at Mr. Pierre.
He stares back.
I'd in fact like to try and do it as an intimidation.
Give me a roll.
Well, she says no one needs to get hurt. I would like to imply that they don't need to get hurt. Certainly. 17... 19.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, dice. Where the hell was this?
Where the hell was this? You got a crit in the first round of combat. Your dice have always been on your side.
Or the story side.
Yeah. Mr. Pierre meets your gaze. You have something to say, Mr. Gauntlet?
Actually, Mr. Pierre, I'm not sure I have very much left to say to you at all at this point. I have found your friend to be much more helpful.
Yes. The accountant. The Othello's root in a suit, as it were.
I appreciate your alliteration.
That's rhyming, not alliteration. You do know the difference, yes.
Apparently not. Mr. Carmen, I am contemplating releasing you at this point. Scoop and my other friend, do you have any objection to such things?
I don't know. I feel like I'd prefer to be called the Scoop right now. I feel like it really sets the right. You mean about yes? I see no reason we can't let them go. Or it's
found him to be most amicable, frankly.
Yes,
I think still giving the face. Just like
and obviously, he's been very good, and he's, if anything, his presence is throwing the Pierre off.
Mr. Carmen, do you have any objection to such things?
more if you'd like.
You see him look up at Pierre, and Pierre looks at him and just sort of raises his eyebrows, curious to see what Carmen will do sort of way.
So, come with me, the Carmen. We'd hate for the Pierre here to throw you off. Yeah.
Carmen shrugs and nods his head.
Well, Mr. Carmen, here is my intention, and I hope that you go along sincerely. I am planning to unbind you. I will leave on your cuffs for now, and my companion, the Scoop, will walk you out. He may have further questions for you. You are free to answer as you will. And then, Mr. Scoop, if you have no other objections, I'd like you to remove those cuffs and see him on his way.
Yes, well, if you're
That's
for
all
it,
right.
please.
Go with. You look like you could use some help with the balance, she says to Carmen.
He nods.
Of course.
Thank you.
Very well then. And I'm going to undo his binds.
I think Miss Cotta is giving him the please don't do anything stupid face. Please. Please.
He sits still while you unbind him,
To Carmen.
and then once they're undone,
She offers her hands.
he takes your help to stand up.
What's Pierre's reaction during all this?
Give me an insight on that one.
Ooh, that was nice. 18.
He's hard to read, but you feel like he seems curious in a sense.
So not
he's just
betrayed.
No, he's just he's wondering where this is going. If that makes sense.
This isn't the scenario that he came in to think that he
No.
was going to go through, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is there another room that's a little bit more comfortable? Might be difficult, but is there?
There would be an office sort of area in this abattoir, where they have a desk and a bunch of paperwork and files and stuff if you want to.
If you wish to, tend to his wounds a bit more, but I am genuine. I do mean to release this man back into the wilds of
Right.
society.
Oh, yes, but he can't do it when he can't walk, now can he?
Very valid point. Mr. Carmen, do you have any issue to my friend here addressing your wounds?
He shakes his head.
Very well then. Well, if you two would like to help this man, I will have a quick discussion with Mr. Pierre. I think we are almost fit.
Alright. She turns to Pierre, and she's like, as much as I really don't want to wish it on you, good luck. And she helps Carmen
Thank
out.
you.
I don't know if Scoops come in, or I don't mind doing it by myself. I can probably handle it.
I'll join along. I have some more questions for you, Carmen. Just as we're walking out, and as my friend here is addressing your wounds, I say
That's
as we
fine, Jesse.
make our way out.
Hmm.
Let's find you somewhere
Fine,
more
Jesse.
comfortable.
Comfortable.
Alright, yeah.
Ooh, I can cook for you.
You find the
No, you're not doing that.
the small office that's just basic chair and desk and a bunch of file cabinets. That's the word, file cabinets.
Please, have a seat. Would you
Carmen
like to...
lowers himself down onto the chair.
I turn to the current form that Miss Cotta has taken.
It's Catha.
Miss
Catha.
Miss Cotta. Would you like to address their wounds? But just, while you do you mind if I...
Address my wounds like a hello? Or dress their wounds? Those are two different things.
Well, kind of, they all sort of imply the same. It's alright. Anyway, please heal their leg a little bit.
She does. Just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't mind.
she's not purposefully pumping all the lay on hands on. She's taking aloe vera and disinfectants. And she kind of goes, is he scarred up? Is he like, does he look like he's been through many, many fights?
Yes. You can see various scars on this man's arms and legs and one on his face. This seems
You've
like
been through a lot.
nods.
I know what it's like. Don't worry. I'm not gonna ask if you don't want to share. But
He shrugs.
she picks like out a fresh one. Who did this?
You see him, gesture sort of with his hands, like making a writing motion.
Ah, yes. I thought so. Mr. Scoop, do you have a spare pen? I mean, I probably have something in my basket.
I'll have a look. I'll go around the office to see if I can find something.
Yeah, you easily, like, there's just like a container full of writing
Pen and like a writing pad.
Yeah.
Slide
you can-
across.
You can find some blank paper.
She heals him a little more.
You seem to
like,
be covering
you
things
wince a
well.
little when
I'll
you,
see
like,
myself out.
apply the disinfectant,
alright.
but
Breathe
he lets you
through.
work. He's clearly been through this before.
I won't ask how many times, but there are definitely older ones along this.
Hmm.
You've been through so much.
Just writes on the pad. He's just like, that's work.
Yes. Yes, it is. Is this work too?
Nods.
Oh. So going through it's work too? They're not giving you any benefits at all.
Shrugs. Like, I get paid. He writes that out. Job's a job.
Survival.
Yeah, he nods to that.
Understand. So, I suppose best thing to ask. Do you actually like the person you're working with? Like, do you? Is it like they seem really annoying? I'm sorry. I don't like to give opinions about, but my goodness, I want to smack him right in the face.
He, like, when you say that, he kind of just gives you a look like, yes, me too.
Oh. Is he the type that just because you're quiet, won't shut up?
He
And-
writes out a note that's basically, he doesn't shut up regardless.
Oh no, you poor darling. So she's healed up his knee enough that he'll be able to move it and
Yeah.
stuff. It's like, would you like some tea?
You see, like, he's like, he kind of shrugs at that. He's like, never
Not a tea drinker? Whiskey? I don't have any on me, but I've got tea.
Tea will be fine, he grunts.
Alright. Feel free to... if you... I'm not gonna pressure into it. I'd like you to, but I'm not gonna force you. There's just a lot of people I'm really scared for.
He nods.
And she goes and she makes tea with the facilities that she's hoping are around, and because she has the tea leaves, but she does, and the stuff, but she doesn't have hot water on her at all times.
There's like a small break area where you could.
All right,
It has a small like kitchenette.
I go ahead and do that.
You know, the heating thing with a pot on it. Yes. While you make common tea, we'll hop back to the other room with Pierre and the accountant.
Question. Can I have gone that way?
Yeah, you can go back there too.
Do I have a moment before they return, or before?
Yeah, we can give you a
Absolutely.
moment before. While they're
Feel free to
right after
mention
they
when
leave,
assembly done.
we can jump back to there.
Excellent. Kind of walk casually, and I reach inside my jacket, and I'm going to switch the rod from the inside jacket pocket to my vest pocket.
Yep.
And I'm going to take off my jacket and hang it on one of the hooks as I walk, as I talk.
Yep.
So, Mr. Pierre,
Yes.
I'm afraid I have not been completely honest with you.
No, that doesn't surprise me.
It should. I rarely tell a lie.
You live a lie.
And I do not. And as it happens, I have not lied. But I've given you the wrong impression.
Oh no, I can tell what man you are. You're very similar to me in that sense of like, you put forth this air of diplomacy, you know, but as soon as things don't go your way, you resort to violence. You just outburst and people get hurt. Difference between you and me is I own it. You, the accountants, you don't even have a name.
It's a lot in a name, Mr. Pierre. They're very important, actually. They come with reputations. Mine is rather prolific in these parts.
Oh, I'm well aware.
Good. Generally, my reputation is not one for simply allowing my fellow servicemen to go freely. And I am honest. That man is going to, well, limp out of here, and he will enjoy the rest of his life. But of course, I must balance the scales. That is why I am called the accountant. I like things in balance. After this day, Mr. Pierre, people will not remember that Carmen left here, answering no questions, no injuries. In fact, we helped him, if anything. That will not be talked about. What people will say is, did you hear about the fire genasi? And they'll say, yes, I think it was the accountant who did it. And I'll pull out the rod. I'm sure you are familiar with this.
Yes.
I believe it was yours, allegedly.
It looks familiar, yes.
So the deception I have given you is that you were going to get out of here in some way.
Oh, I was under no illusion that I was going to live through this. I'm not scared.
And yet, well, in which case that makes it a little bit easier, frankly. What I am about to do, I'm going to take this item. It has some fancy name, I'm sure, but I'm not literate enough to understand what it is. A rod of fire, probably. Very, you know those wizardy types. and I'm going to place it in your mouth. And then I'm going to use it. I'm not going to ask you any more questions. I do not want to hear anything else you may or may not have to say. I am going to improve the name of the accountant. And everyone will remember you, Mr. Pierre. I will make certain of that.
Oh,
You held out to the bitter end. I'm sure your employers will be eternally grateful.
well, get it over with then. And he just opens his mouth.
I'm gonna quickly look at this thing. I'm taking a guess that there's a little flint device at the top, and
Yeah, similar
this
to like
looks like an axe.
it's similar
like
to
a-
a modern lighter in a sense, that like a little wheel against a flint that would like if you flick the wheel, it sort of sparks.
So I'm just gonna do that, just to make sure I've got this, and I'm kind of like pointing it towards the back of the room, just in case it just goes off immediately.
It like it sparks, but nothing else happens.
Mr. Pierre, apparently my literacy skills also are lacking when it comes to wizardry.
Yeah.
I suspect you knew that.
Yeah, he nods. It is out of charges. It doesn't work right now.
Ah, of course.
You see, they were used up. I assume by someone who burnt that cafe down. I found it there that last night before I was assaulted by you. Picked it up off the ground. I was like, oh, this must be evidence. I should get this to the watch.
Very true.
You
Very true. I have a grave look on my face.
Yeah.
Like one of those ones where I don't feel great about this. Very well. You have caught me. I'm afraid I cannot activate this in your mouth.
no, you can't.
If
I
you wouldn't
just-
mind holding still, and I'm going to walk around now in front of him and walk up to him. Could you lean your head back once again? With your mouth open, please.
No. I'll be your guest.
Thank you.
Leans his head back and opens his mouth.
And I will put it in flint first.
Yeah.
This is hard. This is hard. I feel bad.
Yeah.
It's hard playing a bad guy.
I think I know what you're implying that the accountant will do. We can cut away if you'd like.
Good night, Mr. Pierre. It has not been a pleasure knowing you.
So, Scoop, as you make your way back to the cool room, I think you see the accountant make his way out.
Was he forthcoming?
No, sadly not.
Well, I don't know, the giving anything away, the blink, you know what blinking means, like it's where his defenses were lowered and he gave away what he... No? Well, so no new information. That's a bummer. I was really hoping to interrogate. I had this whole thing planned that where we're like talking about like how you're clearly at the lowest point and we're the only people that can help you. What's that?
No,
Look, do you mind if I go in and try that out? It might prove it. I don't know what you said, but hopefully you haven't told them who we work for. That'd be terrible. Then we'd have to like... I honestly don't know what would happen. You could tell anyone.
Mr. Scoop.
Yes?
How to put this delicately?
I can't... You already told him.
No.
Wait, who'd you tell him we work for?
You can see the account genuinely thinks this over for a moment. Mr. Scoop, in a weird turn of events, I have actually come to like you.
That means a lot.
That is why I will be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
The man in that room behind me is now dead.
Huh. Alright. You think it was the freezer, like cold temperatures and fire genasi? I haven't really done any research on this topic, but we did leave him here overnight. And last time I was locked in a fridge, it really sucked.
Imagine that would, but no. I'm sorry, Mr. Scoop. He has died by my hands, and my hands alone. I'm afraid I had to inhume him.
But I had this whole thing. I was gonna question him. I'd quit.
I'm sorry to take that opportunity away from you. Genuinely so.
We're already told we're gonna let the other guy. Miss Cotta's talking.
No, he is free to go. He is simply doing his job.
Oh my god. What are we gonna tell? Oh, this is
no. That is a conversation I will deal with head on.
Listen, I'll be true. Scoop walks a little close to you and looks at you. Truth be told, I've very much enjoyed my time and have come to like you as well. And I feel in my time I've known you, you've made it quite clear that you're not comfortable lying to people.
No.
You see, to me, lying's just stories we tell each other. And if need be, like, I am perfectly happy. Like, I don't know what you did in there, but I'll go in, I'll look over it, and I'll find some way in which this was an accident, and perhaps, he was interrogating. He didn't want to.
I shake my head a little somberly. Mr. Scoop, what you have said means a great deal to me, and truly, there is less than a handful of people who would say that for me, and it means a lot. I would not allow you to sully yourself with such acts on my behalf. I am what I am, and I do what I do. Mr. Pierre said something interesting in there. He said that we are very similar, but the difference was that he owns it. Unfortunately, he misunderstood who I am. But he was right. Owning what you do is the only way. Thank you.
But
I didn't really think I would have someone who would be willing to do that. I can go in and get your belongings if you would like.
No, that's fine. I'll get them, but I need to ask you something. It's not going to be a question you might like.
Please.
You know me. I'm a humble man trying to do good and bring criminals to justice. To me, anyone that does wrong and breaks the law is a criminal. I need to ask you, did you do it for a good reason? Do you think that your actions will lead to a good outcome, the world a better place?
The accountant thinks for a moment, but quite directly. He says, yes. For what it is worth, perhaps in my own twisted way, I do believe that this is for the greater good, and that my actions will result in the betterment of other people's lives. This is how I sleep at night. I have seen what people like me become.
Scoop looks at you, studying your face. I will remind the DM and anyone and our viewers that Scoop cannot roll below a 17 on insight. I'm not going to roll insight. He'll simply look at the account and say, "Okay, that's all I need to hear," and walk past him and go to collect his things. Scoop walks into the room, completely ignoring Pierre, gathers his things and puts them in his pouch. Makes to leave the room.
The accountant turns to him. "If you wouldn't mind, I would like to go tell Miss Cotta. Better this is immediate rather than delayed."
He straightens up, smiles, gives a chuckle. "Well, better you than me. I'd hate to tell her.
No.
Good luck. I'll be here. If I hear a scream, I'll be honest, I won't come running. I'll be
I
going.
would not come running at all.
I suppose Miss Cotta has been with Carmen in the office. And she's healed him up at this point.
Yeah.
When Scoop has not done any questioning, she's gonna be like, "Poof, is your boss nice? Or is he a bite?" I mean, to pair you with that sort of gestures, it makes a mustache gesture.
You see Carmen sort of just shrugs a little, and it's like, tapping the hand against his chin, trying to think of like the words he'd like to write on that subject. Would you give me a persuasion with advantage because of everything you've been through with Carmen?
I'm not joking. That's 20.
All right. He writes out 2 bosses.
Ooh.
He sort of, in less words, but he kind of explains he's a mercenary that has been hired to work with this. Like his mercenary group was hired to work with this other, by these people to work for this, to help with this whole situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was the mercenary group? If you don't mind me asking. If you don't want to say, that's fine. I just...
You don't have to any. Swift Silvermarks.
They're back! Nice. She's, well, not nice. You know what I mean. So you were hired... Was it a lot of you, or was it just you?
Like he writes, just my squad.
Ah.
About 10.
Or squad. Alright, I'm gonna be very, very honest. Are they just using you? Are you just a tool, or are you a person? Because those are 2 different things, even if people may treat a person as if they're just one.
He's considering those words. just kind of shrugs. Writes out, like, what do you want to know?
I ask my questions. I ask who should I keep in mind if I see them, if he wants any of them alive. If this is bigger than it looks like it is. And probably if he wants to stay in it, or if he wants to get out. And as she says, she's asking, there was a time in my life when I was much younger, when I was not a person to many people. Mr. Carmen. And she rolls up her sleeve a little and pulls it up to about half elbow. And then so they can see the markings, which is, if this is shot, is blocked by a camera.
So, we'll
and she pulls it back down.
The shot.
Thank you. Pulls it back down. I don't know if you recognize it, or if you know what it means, but
you see recognition in his eyes, like,
of
of some kind.
right. But you don't have to be a tool. Someone with a lot of scars and laugh I miss told me that you can be made into something else. Something beautiful. You're not just a mercenary. You have a name. You're a person. And you hurt. And you heal.
You see him nod. You see, he basically writes out and asks, I can tell you where to find some people. But can I have some time to talk to my squad?
She takes out a pinky. All right. But you got to promise. All right? I've got people I've got to protect too.
He knows and links pinkies with you. And
Thank you.
we'll go on break. back.
Hello.
And we find ourselves inside Amberwood Keep. Arkpoint Keep. The home of the Amberwoods. With Janus making... Yeah, towards the end of his history lesson.
Wait, so you're telling me that the Elven shipwrights have started making lower quality ships because of some racist dispute with the dwarves in shipping in the harbour? Like, I know the dwarven ships are bigger and slower, but how does that help by making more big, slow ships? Sorry, this is... And he's staring at the map of, like, the various shipping lanes, like...
Yeah, your teacher's like, no, it doesn't make sense. That's please. Well, at least not to us, but they had their reasons. We're not sure why. Yeah, it's something that has to be worked out.
Because somebody cried racism because the dwarven ships got priority. Because they were less maneuverable.
Well,
politics.
Something you will have to get used to, young master. But
I think I'm starting to understand.
That about wraps up our time.
Oh, wow.
You...
Janus closes his notebook. When will I see you next?
Next week.
Excellent.
I'm glad you found your enthusiasm.
I'll try not to upset any elves.
He like taps his nose.
Have a good evening.
Good evening, young master.
And Janus makes his way out of the what I can only assume study.
Yeah.
I don't know if study hall would be appropriate, but it's definitely a study.
Yeah, it'd be probably the keep would have a library, and you're probably in a little corner of the library around a table. And you make your way out. Where are you planning to go?
Janus is weighing up his options. He could try and meet up with the others, but he has had quite a busy day.
It is late afternoon, getting into evening. You would probably be expected to be having dinner with your family in about an hour.
Probably can't risk it. Now there's a thought. Janus scribbles down a little note on, like in his notepad, tears out a page, and walks out to the front gate. Is there, perchance, any group of kids hanging out the front gate? Any familiar faces, perhaps?
Yeah, give me a fate roll.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This one's not a d20, it could do anything. 84.
Nice.
Not bad at all.
So, not quite just, like, Janus goes for a bit of a walk. Not immediately out the front gate of the keep, which would be, because that would lead straight into Old Town, in the walled area of the city. You keep going through Old Town and get to the outer wall, into Wallside, where things are a bit more less stuffy in terms of, like, Old Town is very bureaucratic, whereas Wallside is more of a mismatch of market stalls and people running back and forth. And when you do see a group of kids with a recognizable little half-elven, sorry, not half, high-elven boy.
I'm seeing a recognizable half elf. Oh crap!
No, high
a recognizable
boy.
high elf boy. Yeah.
He's
Session 1 coming back to haunt me. Alright, just gonna quickly make sure my purse is all nice and secure. And fold up the sheet of paper carefully enough so that it looks like a letter.
Yep.
And it's not going to become apparent that this is a torn off sheet of notebook until it's opened.
Okay.
And he's going to gingerly, as much as possible, approach the familiar one of the kids
Yeah.
with the hat, I assume.
Mm.
I think he had a hat.
I can't remember. He's wearing a hat now. Nice little,
Excellent.
nice little like knitted kind of skull cap beanie thing.
I don't know why I imagined a beret. All right. Yeah, Eldritch is right. It might well be a flat cap. But yes, just kind of waits for the kid to notice him briefly, which is not difficult as Janus is in full kit.
Yeah. No, as you approach, like he sort of glances your way, like gives you like it's the opposite of a nod, the thing where they tilt their head back and up, like a quick what up?
Yo.
Look of recognition.
And a flash of gold coin.
He sidles over to you. Well, can I help you?
Do you think you could deliver something for me?
Well, it depends. Where am I delivering?
Oh, there's... One moment. Do you know where Sanguis Manor is? Not the old one, the new one. The little one. Also, I'm not 100% sure how far that is from Old Town. Oh, God.
Oh, actually, I can show you. So,
That's actually... I think that might be quite far.
yes. So, we have a map here, for everyone interested. Drawn by our lovely Scarlet Song. Worked amazingly on it. So, this is Amberwood Keep. Old Town is this two-tiered walled area. Wall side, which you've just come out, is just on the other side of this wall. Sanguis townhouse is all the way in the north part of the city, up here in Chronist Heights.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that 8 wisdom is rearing its head again. Oh, yikes.
And I don't think you know where either of the other two party members would live.
No, I don't. Oh, wait, no. I've got Scoop's business card.
There you go. That would be...
Which is also over near
Not
that
so
part
much.
of it. Oh, it's not...
So
That's not too bad.
Scoop is right here on Sharktooth. Yeah, by this bridge between Dwanborough and the Sharktooth Island. So from Wallside, not very far. It's a district over.
All right. I'm going to address this little letter to Scoop and Co.
Yep.
It's like, hey,
Wallside right now.
there's a detective's office over on She's like, Reverend Sharktooth, do you reckon you could deliver this for me?
Yeah, it's not too far. How
Thanks,
much?
kid. Hmm. And Janus looks at him. Well, one's a good start.
I agree to that. Would there be more on delivery?
Here to make sure it gets there.
Smart. Yeah, I can do it for you.
We have a deal. He hands him the neatly folded letter.
He like takes it in a way that's also a vague handshake.
And 1 gold now. And 1 to get back.
Deal. Will you be here, or should I find you somewhere else?
I'll stay near the gate.
He nods, and you see him just kind of like whistle, like a short whistle, and the other kids that he was like hanging out with sort of like look up, and he goes over and starts talking to them as they walk down the street.
Janus is rather proud of himself for this little maneuver.
Very nice.
And then snaps back to reality. Looks around. The gate. I didn't specify which gate. I'm gonna have to stay here. And he'll find a spot to sit and ponder for a little while, awaiting the return of a young man in a hat.
Sounds good. While you ponder, we'll cut back to the abattoir.
We've just
Yeah.
shaken Pinkies.
Yes. You've just made a pinky promise with Carmen, the swift silver
Thank
merc.
you. Genuinely. It means a lot.
He just nods.
Are you captain of your squad? Or are you just part of them?
He shakes his head.
Are you close to your squad captain?
Shrugs at that one.
Oh, alright. But you care for your squad mates.
Yeah. Nods his head at that.
I'm glad. Here, have some more tea. Hopefully they'll be done soon, whatever it is. If, I have to ask, if your friend doesn't make it out, do you mind?
He, raises his shoulders. He's like, eh.
Well, he had a big mouth, this is past tense. Hopefully it didn't get him into too much trouble.
Give me a moment. He just nods agreeingly. He's like, sort of gives a look that's like, yeah.
I will also say that when we went to make tea, she dropped the illusion as well.
Okay.
Probably. Because he's already seen what she actually looks like.
Yeah.
And she just waits for... she's like, she kind of goes along, and at one point she kind of goes, you know what? And she takes the pen and writes out, is this a bit better? Would you like some peace and quiet for once?
Um, he writes out, it's like, I appreciate it, but I don't mind hearing your voice.
Oh, I hope it's not too grating. Sorry
Shakes
if it
his
is.
head.
Oh, that's sweet of you. I like your handwriting, by the way.
Thank you.
So many flourishes.
I use it a lot.
Very nice. Honestly, and she pauses. Some of the handwriting I've seen has been absolute chicken scratch. And not even nice chicken scratch, like, can't actually read it. Not for the life of me. Bit difficult when you're trying to communicate, but you know, I'm really happy. Really, like, your H's look absolutely adorable.
He smiles at that.
Around this point, you'd probably hear the sound of the accountant coming up the stairs towards the office.
Oh, they're done already. That was fast. You'd think you'd had more to say.
And you'd come up, knock on the door, and then enter in.
Welcome. She pauses and looks at you. What kind of face are you making?
It's a very grave face. It's clearly not something he wants to be doing.
Oh dear. And I think she actually stands a little bit protectively over Carmen.
Mr. Carmen, are you able to walk at this point in time?
I've given what he...
He nods his head. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure as to any business the pair of you have. I would like a moment with my friend. Would you mind?
He stands up and
Open the door.
leaves the room.
Before he leaves, Miss Cotta goes, "Thank you again. It was really nice chatting with you."
He nods and smiles at you.
Could you show me a wave?
As he's leaving,
coming down
also
and says, I'll walk you out.
close the door behind him then.
Miss Cotta looks up to the accountant. Does he have any blood on him?
No, I imagine I would not. Or at least, no, if it is, there's probably like the red smear kind of thing on his hands. He would have wiped them down a little bit afterwards.
Are you hiding your hands or are they on display?
No, they'd be on display.
She reaches into her basket. Come here.
Takes it. He holds his hand up for a moment.
What happened?
Miss Cotta,
Yes.
he's like clearly quite pensive. Then after a moment says, Miss Cotta, I have killed Mr. Pyle.
Yeah.
Pierre.
She pauses and puts a mixture of some sort of liquid and which smells a little bit faintly of lemongrass. And are you hurt?
No, it's not mine. Kind of looking at his hand a
That's
little
not
bit.
what I'm asking. And she takes, if you let her, takes your hand and starts cleaning off the blood. You can hurt in more places than just a physical injury, Mr. Accountant, sir. Are you hurt?
It's not me I'm worried about, actually. I mean, looks... He himself is still quite very rigid, and his face is very kind of stoic. but I think there is a softness in his eyes, like a vulnerability, for lack of a better word.
She gives your hand a squeeze after cleaning off the blood. Was it swift?
It was quick.
Then you were more generous than you might believe.
The reason I'm telling you this, Miss Cotta, I care for you, and I do not wish to deceive you.
Oh,
Today I took the life of a man. It was no threat to me. He was in no immediate danger of harming me. There's a very specific reason as to why I killed him.
and that is?
Because I am the accountant. This is what I do. And I do not want you to be under an illusion that while I may believe I am trying to do good in some way, I am not a good person.
She chuckles at that, actually. And she gives your hand a firm squeeze. Mr. Accountant, sir, usually people who say that they aren't good people, that they're bad people, have a lot more good in them than they think. And I have no room to talk. I was a terror once. I'm not a terror now. I'm Miss Cotta now. As I'm sure you were never just the accountant. Right?
Your guess is as good as mine on that one.
Well, names change. People change. You're still a person with a name. You're not just a tool. You're not just the accountant. And you don't have to be. Someone, over dinner, reminded me and told me of something very similar once. Mr. Accountant, sir, I know you think yourself big and terrifying and scary and such. But you are a person with a bigger heart than you think.
That is very kind of you to say.
And an honest one. I am under no illusions. I am under no lies. I may cast them. I may hide myself away. I might not be who I was. I might be trying to not be who I was. But very, very much. You took a life today. I've taken dozens, potentially hundreds. You lose count. But I did it because at the time I was Terra. I was the terror of the dawn. But I did it because I loved my work. Because I loved the person that I was doing it for. And I still do. I'm still her. But I'm Miss Cotta too. I don't know who you were before. I don't know who you will be. And she gives you a small smile. Look, no blood on your hands. Right now, at least.
If only it were that easy.
It never is. But appearances are appearances, and who we are in the streets is not who we are in bed or at home with the people we care about.
That
Who
is
we are when we're
actually
asleep. Sorry.
that is something also I've been thinking on this one for a couple of days.
Oh,
Trying to find the words. They're not always as forthcoming as I'd like them to be.
words are hard. There are many of them.
It's about Janus.
Yes.
And I am the accountant. It's who I am. And the reason I have taken this, or at least perhaps tried, I want to ready Janus. I want him to be prepared for the world. So he doesn't. So he's not.
You. So he's not you. Right?
He's going to do a lot of good.
Of course
And
he is.
he's going to be a good person about it.
Of course he is. He's also going to be bloody stupid about some of it. But you... He doesn't need to be safe, he needs to be smart. I'd like him safe. I'd like many people that I love and care for to be safe. I'd like you and Scoop and Janus and Lady Sanguis and everyone and Nate to be safe. But I can't do it. I can't be around everyone all of the time. And sometimes you choose to not be. But he doesn't have to be you. And I don't think he's going to turn into that. And I don't think he's going to be like me. Well, I'll have a little bit of influence on the lad. But
I hope so.
I will think he's also got a family. He's got parents who love him. And people who care. And that's the best sort of life we can give him. We just need to care.
Kind of looks at you, point purposely. And he's in good hands. More or less.
Of course, have you seen the size of yours? Now, breathe. I've got some spare tea if you'd like a cup before you head off. You look actually more like you could use a stiff drink.
It has been a while.
Wonder
Perhaps
if
why I'm
there's any in
talking
the
so
cabinet.
much.
Well, I don't mind. You have a nice voice. I wonder if they've got any liquor hidden in one of the cabinets.
Bottom drawer, left-hand side.
Oh, I'm glad you know. If it's not locked, she's just like, sorry, Will leaves a couple of silver pieces to pay for alcohol. Here you are. Have some. I don't agree with it, but I know it doesn't faze you, so...
Fountain kind of just stares. Really, it's this is a lot to take in, and it's very hard to believe.
Are you okay? Do you need to sit down? Do you want to talk? If you don't want to talk about it, we can just sit. Oh, also, and then she brings out the pieces of paper. I got a lot.
Well, that is good. And I think this will do as well. And I think we can transition to Scoop as you tell me what is on this list.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We will head outside with... Come. Here. Scoop. You
Right.
escort Mr. Carmen outside?
Yes. Yes, and as I'm escorting him, I undo his shackles and put them away back inside my bag. Apologies again for the inconvenience.
He shrugs.
Like, genuinely. We just want to ensure that everyone makes it out of this safely. The best happens. Truly, we hope that everyone has the best outcome here.
He gives you a look, like he's trying to like read you in that sense. Like what you're saying doesn't quite add up to the company you keep, in a sense.
Well, if you ever need us, unfortunately, I don't quite feel comfortable giving you my address. But, should we run into each other again, I assure you, like, if it's within my power, I'd... like how do we put it, like a semi-solid truce? If we run into each other and we're working for people that just aren't on the same side of the force, just... I won't shoot you if you won't shoot me. You know...
He looks at his knee. And looks back at you.
I assure you, I wasn't aiming for you. That was a cruel twist of fate. I'd say get it nice, but
gives
I feel
a
like maybe
smirk.
Again, I highly recommend a good night's sleep.
Yeah, he rubs his wrists where the cuffs were, and nods.
Well, sorry for the harsh treatment. Have a good day.
He nods, and you get the feeling he like he's like gives you a look that's like, you too.
Oh, and if it's within your power, know that the organization you're going for is we're on our way to dismantle it and whatnot, and if you can, it might be best if you make yourself scarce of that.
He kind of like gestures at your notepad, like if you can make a note.
Oh, sure. I hand him the notepad. To him, it just looks completely empty.
Yeah.
I click the top of my pen and hand it to him.
Yeah. He writes out, he's just like, yeah, we gonna get out, hopefully take my friends with me. It's not worth it.
I'm glad to hear that you're a man of good standing. You treat your friends with such reverence. I too hope to have friends like you someday. I take the notepad and the pen back.
He
Wave him
nods.
goodbye, and I presume he makes his way.
Yeah, he makes his way down the street.
I would like to ask the DM if this is the last scene, if this is the last scene with Scoop in it.
We'll probably wrap up not long after this.
With Janus, I imagine, or?
Would you mind if we leave the abattoir first?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Sounds good.
Well, Miss Cotta, I must speak with William before we leave, just to update him as to the events that have transpired today. Scoop is already headed outside. Would you mind another moment if I speak with William?
Do you need help with the cleanup?
No, there is a plan in for that.
Alright. Well, just remember, he had a name. Maybe he has a person too. And she goes, She goes off to see Scoop, and if she catches Carmen, but as Carmen is leaving, she goes, "Take care. Have a good day."
He's a bit way down the street now, but he turns back and waves.
Such a delight, little man.
I am going to pull out my stone.
Yep.
Calling stone. And I'm going to make a quick call to what I essentially a clean. No, yeah, actually, yeah. To what is her name? She runs the Fight Club.
Panama.
Thank you. I'd like to make a call to Panama, please.
Sure. Panama. She answers.
Good afternoon, Panama.
Ah, Mr. Accountant. Pleasure to hear from you.
I come with good news. Your
I love
matter
good
is
news.
being resolved very quickly. One of the individuals has been removed. Another has opted for an early retirement. I come in request of a service, in fact. Not from yourself, but from someone.
Oh yeah. No one can.
Yes. One of the individuals, a fire Ganassi, he unfortunately did not make it, and is now residing within William's abattoir.
Ah, yes. Ah, good on William.
If you would be so kind to have someone come and collect this individual later this evening. I would like him to be placed somewhere findable within the, how would you say? Oh goodness, can someone please remind me the name of the suburb where all these houses have been burned down?
Ah, Riverside was the place where they were doing their extortion racket.
You could have this person taken to Riverside. I believe there are some bent coppers around this place, and I need them to know exactly what is coming.
Oh, I do love sending a message. We can organize that, no problem.
Very appreciated, Panama. I will continue on. Thank you for your time.
Oh, you do you, babe.
Hang up. And I will go find William and just quickly let him know that someone will be around to collect later. And I will throw him another couple of gold coins, for the rest of the day that he will not be able to use that room.
He takes
Once again, a
Yeah.
pleasure, William.
Always appreciate your business.
Nod, head outside to join my friends.
During that period of time, Miss Cotta has been filling in Scoop. If I've already filled in the accountant with the stuff that she was told by,
Yeah, we can assume.
assume that the information's been spread.
I show Miss Cotta. I hold up my notebook to Miss Cotta, right, and I show her the page that Carmen had written on,
Oh,
referring to getting out and perhaps taking his friends with him. Miss Cotta can note underneath that page is illusionary script that only her and our gang can read. It appears he has written on the page which lists Scoop, me, with parentheses, the accountant, Miss Cotta and Janus. Next to Miss Cotta's name, it says friend, /mystery, /Dame, ?
Dame?
Next to Janus's name, it has friend, /noble's son. Next to the accountant's name, it has friend, but it's got a line through it, and scrolled next to it has criminal.
Oh no. I think she sees that and goes, oh, sounds of the abattoir behind her. I think she looks at that and like, bumps Scoop a little bit.
Scoop looks at the notebook, goes, oh, so sorry. Taps it, and that illusionary script ceases to be visible to you.
It's alright. I'm not going to judge, but I'm glad you're under no illusions.
Yes.
And Mr. School?
Yes?
I haven't had many friends my entire life. Thank you. For what it's worth, my hands may be just as solid. So consider that. And she starts walking.
Scoop watches as she walks away, looks down at his notebook and writes a question mark next to friend Miss Cotta.
Oh.
The accountant exits the abattoir.
Ah.
Seeing Miss Cotta heading off.
Scoop
I suppose it is about that time.
Yes, I'm sure it is. Luckily, our friend showing him the page with a lead written on, that is the script behind it, completely invisible to the accountant. Luckily, our friend seems to be wanting to get out of it with his friends intact.
It's good to hear. There are very few careers worth dying over.
Agreed. Well then, let's perhaps a good friend looks at that book. Janus has found some information that might help us. Shall we? I gesture with my hand, indicating for the accountant to walk in front of him.
Yes, actually, if you don't mind, I will leave that to your capable hands for now. It's something I must think about.
Right then. Well, I'll see you back at my offices then. And I'll make my way out.
Yes.
Okay.
Join you later, Mr. Scoop.
See you later.
As Scoop makes his way back to his office, when you arrive, you find a young high elven boy sort of leaning against the wall of your office, just watching as people occasionally walk past. Seems to be waiting for something.
I tip my flat cap to him. I like your hat.
Thanks. I like yours. Is your office?
I pull out one key, put it in my door. Yes, it is. Rattle a bit, get the door open. Do you need to do something? Oh, have you got a mystery for me? Or, is there something I can help you with?
I've got a letter for you.
A letter? Oh, you see there's a letter hole in the door.
Well, my courier service requires payment on delivery.
I see. I see. Well, I'm a little strapped for cash at the moment. I was out with some friends and we had a very expensive dinner.
Understandable.
I would
Well,
like to roll insight on his point about payment.
Yeah, I mean, with your insight,
That's
you
a money
just-
20.
Yeah. Ooh, money 20. You know that he's just trying, you can tell this. You've been around kids like this before in your line of work. They
If you'd
they
like
will
to
try
leave a
and
letter
get.
here or return it to sender, that's fine with me.
I've come all the way. It would be a shame not to hand it to you.
If you must, I pull out my hand expectantly.
Yeah, he gives you the letter. He's like, no more freebies in the future. I'll see you again.
Of course. I tap the letter on the door frame as I walk in.
He walks away.
I go to sit down at my table, I walk around my desk and go to sit down and remember there's no chair there. So I scoop some the things on my desk to the side and sit on the desk and pull out a letter opener and cut it open.
Yep.
I look to the back and see the seal. Oh, this could only be for one person. And take a look inside.
It reads, I found some leads. Need to compare notes. Meet for lunch tomorrow in Riverside. Bring the others. Janus.
I shouldn't have told that kid to go. Hey kid, come back! I got another letter for you to send!
And at that point, we'll
Oh, fantastic.
end the session.